Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of What the F Fridays.
Hey.
Yay! We can't say the F word because apparently you get in trouble for that. I think we curse a lot anyway.
Fuck it. What the fuck? That's what it is.
Well, you can't write it out.
Yeah, you can't. I guess.
Can't write it out. I don't know. You can't.
Don't know. Don't care.
Yeah, it's YouTube rules. I don't know. Anyway, we've been calling it What the F Friday lately anyway. So, welcome back. We have a really exciting episode. This is a movie I've been dying to do and just haven't once, Paul has talked about not pulling the cord and finally doing and pulling the Band-Aid off or whatever. But this isn't that bad. This isn't a Band-Aid. This is something that Paul likes. He's talked about it before. And so I know he's seen it and enjoys it. And it's something we've been talking about doing. But I get to do it first, I guess. So, it is the movie Tusk.
Ah, very nice.
Yes, Tusk, which you can't see because I did not put it down far enough. I will on the next, later. So, there you go.
Full of Tusky goodness.
Yes, so Tusk from Kevin Smith. We both love this movie, so it's something that we've already seen,
It's been a while, actually, since I watched it. So.
It's been a while since I've watched it, too. It's not one of those movies you watch all the time.
No.
I'd rather watch Mallrats or Clerks or Chasing Amy.
But it's interesting.
But I'd actually rather watch this than Dogma all the time, though, because Dogma's harder to watch. There's just too much religious stuff in that. I think there might be a little religious stuff in here, but not much. This is all just walrus goodness. So I should have brought my walrus.
There you go.
Cuckoo. We'll talk about that later. But we'll be back in a bit. So see you soon.
Bye.
And we are back. So, and he's with his little cow. I'm glad you didn't get turned into a cow.
Not yet.
Not yet. He's gonna follow some guy, you'd be the self-obsessed cow lover who wants to turn someone. That's what's gonna happen when you get older. Let's be careful with that. So we just finished watching Tusk.
Utters.
Yeah, Tusk was a fucking crazy ass movie, wasn't it?
It's fun. I liked it.
Yeah. So you said haven't you seen it more than once or just once before this?
A couple times.
A couple times, yeah.
But it's been a while.
Yeah. And I hadn't seen it. I saw it in the theater, actually, at AMC.
I wish I'd seen it in the theater.
I'm guessing this was before we were maybe we were friends. You know what? I think we were, and I wanted to go with you, but unfortunately the only times I could go were during the day and you were working, or something. But I had asked my friend Nadia if she wanted to go, and she had said yes at first and then had to cancel on me, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go by myself. I'm fine with that. A week later or so, she had gone to the fair and got a little walrus for me. I guess she won the walrus. She was like, I'm going to give this to John because, he must, so I named him Mr. Tusk. I'm not going to turn anyone into one.
Let's hope not.
No plans as of yet. There's a couple people I'd turn into a walrus, though, if I could. But then I'd let them go back to being, I wouldn't let them go full walrus.
It's just, it's interesting because, this movie did get a lot of blowback.
It did talk about whales.
It's just, I think people weren't really ready for a Kevin Smith body horror, especially one that's got a lot of black humor in it. I think people either wanted a full, straight-up horror movie, or they wanted a Kevin Smith comedy, which is what they're used to. The road that this movie takes, and sort of in the middle of those two, which is a harder road to take, by the way, is one that I think either puzzled or disappointed a bunch of people. I mean, I think there are still enough people who got it and who do like it, but it's a shame because I feel like Kevin Smith is hemmed in. It's like if he tries to do other things or do different things, he almost gets punished because people want to just do
Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob forever, which is really kind of a shame. I mean, I love Jay and Silent Bob as much as every other Kevin Smith fan, but I like to see Kevin Smith,
venture out and do something different.
Yeah, to expand his portfolio. I mean, this not to make a weird comparison, but I remember way back when I was a kid, people complaining about Woody Allen making movies that were actually not just comedies, but were actually, dramas that, were fairly deep, and then, comparisons to Ingmar Bergman and stuff like that. And there are people that they didn't like that. They wanted funny, ha-ha, traditional kind of comedies.
They wanted Annie Hall, and then they got...
They wanted Bananas, and they wanted,
and then they got Another Woman or
Sleeper,
something.
And, and they got Husbands and Wives, and people were like, we don't want that. We want funny.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, and it's,
Well, it's when you're,
victims of your own success sometimes.
Right. And it's only people like maybe Quentin Tarantino that gets away with it, because Tarantino might have started out with the crime dramas, but then he just ventured out into his own stuff, and then he did that early enough where people started, because Kevin Smith, if you look at his body of work, he did Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, The Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2, then Zack and Mary Make a Porno, to the one that you were talking about before,
Red State,
mm-hmm. And then this, I think I don't know if the other ones, I don't think anything else came before this, and then this was completely like this, because Red State was horror, and I think people are a little jolted about that
without really the black humor.
Without any humor at all, I don't think there was any parts I laughed at. I was like, is this even a Kevin Smith movie? It was so different, which was great. I mean, it was nice of him to try something different.
I liked it.
And it was fun. That was a good movie. And then he made this, and people were like, what the fuck? Like, even in the movie, there's 2 lines where they said, what the fuck?
I mean, it's not quite Greasy Strangler territory, but it's getting there.
It's, I think, and it also falls down to Kevin Smith. Like, it has Kevin Smith in it. Like, his trademarks and his humor and his stuff in it enough where you just look at it and you're like, this is a, like, you look at Red State and you're like, oh, I'm not, that's a Kevin Smith movie? Wow. I mean, then you look at this and you're like, this is a Kevin Smith movie. This is his twisted...
It's like in Red State, he went out of his way to take himself out of his own film as much as possible. Right. And I you got to respect that. I mean, when you're a filmmaker and you have a certain style and you have certain things, you tend to rely on that a lot. And your audience comes to expect that, and so to abandon that and to try something completely different and to be successful with it, at least somewhat successful. I mean, I don't know that it made a big splash, popularity-wise.
And this didn't make a big splash either.
And it's a shame, but I mean, those of us who appreciate indie filmmaking and indie artists, it's great to see an artist stretch their wings and try to do different things. And so I very much appreciated both Red State and this one. Now, Yoga Hosers, which I haven't seen just because I heard too much
bad stuff about it. Like,
being
I mean, I've seen it, flop. And the biggest problem I have with it is it feels like another Tusk, except just not as funny, and the characters aren't like, at least with this one, Johnny Depp and Michael Parks just have this incredible chemistry and this credible thing, where they're just really, just are more fun.
My fear is that Kevin Smith is going to say, okay, I tried different stuff and nobody liked it, and I'm just going to go back to doing Jay and Silent Bob forever. And much as I like to see more of Jay and Silent Bob, I want to see more development. I want to see him doing different things.
And I think he had even said, like, Yoga Hosers was a movie he wanted to do that was, like, more PG-13 and stuff, so that his kid could watch it at the time. His kid is now, like, a grown-up, so she can watch whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
And so, but he wanted to put her in there. He put Lily Rose Depp, like, like in this movie, he had them too, and they're the same characters and stuff. I think he was planning to do that with Moose Jaws, but unfortunately, I think Moose Jaws is on hiatus until like Mallrats 2 comes out or whatever.
And I don't know anything. I mean, I know about Moose Jaws, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know what kind of movie it's going to be.
He said it's Jaws with a moose.
Okay.
Like it's literally that's the title of the movie. So if you are,
so there's room for comedy and horror, I suppose.
No, that'll be a comedy.
It's
horror
like a Kevin
sure.
Smith popcorn movie.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring that up too because I had chatted with the guy who was in Super Troopers and stuff, Steve Lemmy, once, and he was on the plane with this lady, and this lady said that Club Dread sucked, right? And he said, okay, well, don't just tell me it sucks. Tell me why it sucks, right? And she said, because it's too funny to be a horror film and too horror-like to be a comedy. And she was very confused by it. And after hearing that, and he was like, oh my God, thank you. That was a very good, right. That was a very good example of why somebody didn't like his movie, right? And I think that was the problem with some, like, with Yoga Hosers, it was very too comedic completely. It was just bad shit. Like, he thought, if Tusk was crazy, I'm going to go a little bit above and beyond and make it just super dumb and super whatever. And it just didn't work for me. This worked for me because, we had characters that, even though Justin Long's character is a complete douche, he even talks about why he changed from being like this sort of everybody gets to walk all over him kind of jerk, who cries and is a wimp and all this other stuff, to this guy who is just complete douchebag. And he liked being the douchebag because the douchebag guy was making more money and stuff. And he didn't like the character he used to be, and he likes the person he is now. And sort of, I think that was interesting because later when we sort of see him and everything as the walrus, now things have changed for him. Like, he would rather be whoever else human than be this grotesque monster.
And that's the word, is grotesque. And that's the difference between this and a traditional comedy. A traditional comedy, you're laughing and it's a lot more of a positive reaction. You're laughing because it's funny. This is a comedy that it's using sort of a negative reaction. You're laughing because it's grotesque, because you're almost laughing out of self-defense, because what you're witnessing is so horrific.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So that's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But in this case, it works. I mean, the part where his body transformation is complete, you're like, it's fucking horrific. But it's funny because it's grotesque and absurd. But you also understand underneath what the character has gone through and how awful that is. Realistic? No. Okay, that's my biggest issue with the film, is that, this supposed serial killer must also be the, genius doctor of the century to be able to pull this off and have living
with no help from anyone else.
Yeah, or technology, or you get that's the movie kind of scrubs around that. You're not supposed to focus on that.
You're not supposed to, but when you're watching it for the third or fourth time, maybe you might start going, how the heck can he? Because you were talking about,
how does he have the resources to do this? The places.
How does he have a big enough place like this? So how does he make his money?
Multiple places.
Does he steal from the people he's, Does he steal from the people he's killing? What is he like? How does he afford all this? Was he? But we're never told any of this. We do get a lot of background on Dr. Howard Howe.
But we get the wrong background. We get why he's crazy. We don't get why he's such a skilled surgeon that he can pull this off.
Yeah. He never talks about going to medical school.
Because there ain't nobody in the world skilled enough that can pull that off.
No.
It's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy. Well, it's a weird fantasy.
It's a weird fantasy. And that's fine.
That's not my fantasy.
That's not really the point of it. The point isn't to be realistic. The point is to be a body horror, film. It's just, there are some things I can't help but think about. And,
Yeah, I'm sure when Kevin was writing it, he wasn't thinking, how am I going to do that? How am I going to explain all this? Because it doesn't matter in the end. Nobody should be caring about that. People should be focusing on the walrus himself and why Wallace the walrus, or you know what I mean? Like what does he have to do to survive, basically? And there was a scene where the walrus falls into the water. He's trying to swim, and then he just sinks down, and he sees all the other walruses that didn't make it or whatever, and he freaks out. And he just comes back up because he's like, I'm not.
It's the whole thing is that it's a black comedy.
Right.
It's the same reason why at the end, spoilers, nobody bothers to actually help Wallace. Instead, they just leave him as is, which is awful.
That is
you would
terrible.
think somebody would try to sort of like reverse engineer him. They would do whatever surgeries and things are necessary to bring him back. But instead, they leave him in the fucking suit. That's...
He's crying at the end.
I know, it's pretty bad.
By the way, there is a talk of Tusk 2.
Okay.
So Kevin Smith, I saw this video of him, and he was talking about how he went, he was waiting for his next like big speech thing that he does. He does his little evening with Kevin Smith stuff, and I forgot where he was, but he went to the hotel room, got high, and turned on the television and saw Tusk was on.
Nice.
And so he was loving it. He was crying, he was laughing, he was thinking this is one of the best films he felt he ever made, or whatever, because it was just so batshit crazy. And so he texted Justin Long, we're gonna make Tusk 2, baby, right? And Justin was like, really? And then everybody else started he started messaging everybody else, Genesis and Haley Joel Osment, and I don't think he texted Johnny Depp, but he texted everybody and whatnot, and it's just a...
Well, you got to bring back him.
He was in Yoga Hosers as the same character, and honestly, it wasn't... It kind of it was fine for this movie, but when he brought it back again, it just became too much, I think, So I don't know if they'll bring him back or not, but I would love to have him try it again. I will tell you, I don't know if you know the story of how Johnny Depp got the part.
Mm-mm.
So Johnny Depp, Kevin Smith did not go to Johnny's agent for this, because Johnny's agent would have asked for like
millions of dollars, sure.
Yeah, millions of dollars, and they didn't have that budget. So apparently, Lily Rose Depp and his daughter Harley Quinn are like friends. Like
Right.
they go to school together and stuff like that.
That I knew.
Yeah, they went to school together, and so one day Johnny comes over to his house or something, or either vice versa or whatever, when they're doing stuff with the kids or whatever, and he says, "Look, if there's ever a problem, text me." And he gave him his number. He's like, "Oh my God, I've got Johnny Depp's number. Oh my God, on my phone. This is crazy, right?" So one day I think he's high probably, and he's thinking about this movie, and somebody was asking him, "Who do you want as the?" It was like, "You know what, Johnny Depp, right? He would be a perfect Wheel of Point." And they're like, "Yeah, if we could afford him, yeah, he would be great." And he goes, "Oh, I have his number. Maybe I could just text him and see. I mean, the worst thing I could say is talk to my agent, or whatever, or say no, he's not interested." So he messages him this thing, sends a message, talks about the movie, talks about the plot, talks about the character, blah, 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 in this text message, sends it out. Doesn't hear anything from him for a little while, for like a couple days or something. Finally,
busy the whole fight with Amber Heard.
Well, I don't even think that was way before then, but I think he was actually getting along with Amber at the time. But anyway, he ends up sending a message back going, "I like the idea, let's do it," or something like that, right? So they go and they meet up or whatever, and they talk about it. He goes, "Don't talk to my agent, go directly to me, and we'll figure something out for money and stuff, so that, because he has to get paid for
Right.
something." But he said the only thing he requested was that he wanted to do his own makeup and stuff. He has his own guy that he's had since Pirates of the Caribbean that does his makeup, and he wants, that guy to be his makeup guy. He's like, that's your request. All right, fine with me. I don't care.
Seriously.
So he comes in there, and that guy, that's why he has that crazy mustache, and he's and he's a character.
Yeah, and it's good to know that Johnny Depp, even with his success with all of this other stuff, because I didn't like Pirates of the Caribbean, I did that kind of garbage.
Yeah, that's not
it all
kind
of went to his head a little bit, but there's still, in the core of Johnny Depp, he's still a good actor, willing to take an interesting role and to make sacrifices for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think if the movie wasn't so batshit crazy and stuff, and it was just a normal horror film or something that somebody was pitching him, he would have had no interest. But
the fact that it's Kevin Smith too also helped.
Well, I don't think even Johnny knew who Kevin was, like as a
he's
filmmaker.
Got to know him. He's got to.
I don't know. I can't say.
Clerks is pretty far-reaching, even in Hollywood.
Yeah, well, Seth Rogen loves Clerks, and but Seth Rogen's a pothead, so that's what he grew up watching. That's why they did Zack and Miri make a porno together. Is because Seth Rogen was like wanting to work with him.
Yeah, see, to me, it's just weird. I don't get Seth Rogen was doing it to help Kevin Smith. I think of it as Kevin Smith helping Seth Rogen.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but Knocked Up was one of the biggest movies of all time. Even if you don't like it,
no,
it's not your cup of tea. But
I think Clerks was a billion times better.
Right, but that's a different kind of thing, and it's a different kind of humor today. Zack and Miri Make a Porno is a pretty good movie, but it has its flaws too. I think there's some problems I have with it, which is I think when it gets to the porno stuff, I'm not interested in it. Weirdly enough, like you would think, oh man, porno guy, whatever. No, I'm not. Like I'm just like, I kind of wish they had done something different. Like, and that's why I think you've seen Clerks 3. That's why Clerks 3 worked because, in my opinion. Because it was exactly what I think they wanted. He sort of wanted to do with Zack and Miri Make a Porno, like make a movie about how he made a movie, or whatever, sort of a meta version of himself. And when he does the porno stuff, I'm like, Kevin Smith's not really in the porno world,
right? No.
And he's not really in the other than Red State. He wasn't really in the horror world. He loves horror films.
Yeah, no.
Him and Vincent Pereira would always bond on like Twin Peaks, and they went to see The Dark Backward, and they did all of these movies that are completely horror-like stuff. So it's really funny because Kevin didn't originally get in through horror. He wasn't, like, his first film...
Which is usually how it happens.
Yeah, usually it's the horror filmmaker ends up making comedies later. It's not the comedy guy that ends up making horror films later.
Right. And it's the same thing, people get typecast, and usually the guy who makes horror movies who tries to expand, people get confused because he's not making horror movies anymore, or it's just weird situations, and I don't know. I like to see that. I don't want to have to be. If it were me, I'd be grateful for any success I got, but I would not want to have to make the same type of movie over and over and over and over and over again. That's why I love, someone like Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick never makes the same film twice. No. It's always different.
You can still tell it's Stanley Kubrick, but
right.
it's just
But every movie's completely different than the other.
He makes a sci-fi movie, and then he makes a horror film, then he makes a drama.
Thriller, erotic drama, and it's just different stuff.
And that's wonderful. When you're able to go and find somebody who just can do that, but not everybody can. And
can master all of them, master all the genres. That's very difficult.
I mean, I look at you and I think your favorite films aren't the same type of movies.
Right.
Your favorite films are like The Shining and then Comfort and Joy.
Right.
Stuff like that. Or Local Hero.
Kurosawa. I mean, everyone thinks, he just does a bunch of samurai movies, but he does a lot more than samurai movies. He does some great crime
We saw
noir.
one. We watched one for Criterion Watch.
And some other stuff too. So it's great when you can go beyond.
High and Low was amazing.
Yeah.
And that was not a samurai movie. Mm-mm. And I thought it would be because I didn't know anything about it, but I knew him as and then when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, this is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a really well done cop movie, basically drama, crime drama. And
so it's good to see Kevin Smith expanding his interests and his artistic possibilities. And we'll see what else he likes to do. I'd love to see him take a stab at like a supernatural horror film, like a vampire kind of a thing, or a witch kind of movie, a folk horror. That would be very interesting.
I was trying to think of and he's talked about different projects and stuff. I mean, he's been doing this since 93 and 93, 94. And so it's been like 30 years of his filmmaking. And he's just been continuing to make, different shit as he can. Now he's going back to Jay and Silent Bob because that's his bread and butter.
It's what pays the bills.
It's what pays the bills. I mean, he's even joked about that in his evening with Kevin Smith, where he says, he was writing, he'd write something and then he'd go, he'd watch some TV or whatever. Then he'd go, oh no, I need to pay the bills. Snooch to the booch, and you know what I mean. Like when somebody can make fun of themselves like that, but it's so you can tell this guy just truly just wants to make something that matters in a way. And I mean, I'm not saying that Tusk is a movie that changes the world or anything, but it's
a step in that direction. Though.
It's a step in that direction because it makes you sort of see how horrible humans can be, or whatever. And it doesn't matter what country you're in, America or Canada,
right.
And everything. The stuff with, you like that line in the movie where he's like,
what kind of Americans are you?
Yeah, what kind of Americans are you?
They don't want
trying to
the
handle
guns.
The guns. And I thought that was funny, but was my favorite line. There was I don't want to die in Canada. I thought that was funny. I thought the scenes with him in the airport were pretty funny and stuff like that. I forgot who played the guy who Canadian airport guy
with all the facial hair.
Yeah. Well, they had him. He was like, oh,
someone they had to hide.
What do you say?
I was thinking maybe it was they were doing this non-SAG and they had to get somebody who wanted to play, but he had to hide himself so he wouldn't get in trouble.
I don't remember who it was, but maybe
that's what it felt like.
But he was like, was a facial hair aficionado, and he's like, not as well as you, my friend, and and stuff like that. And they were just, you could tell that they really have fun with this movie. The things that
Justin Long, that's the one I want to ask if he had fun with this movie. That must not have been a lot of fun being in that suit. I mean, I'm sure it was fun for him to be the character, but how many takes and how was it like to be in the water? Good Lord, he asked a lot of that actor, and he really pulled it off.
There's a making of in here, so I wonder if that was
that I've never seen.
20 years to Tusk featurette, so I don't know what that means necessarily.
20 years?
20 years to Tusk, so I wonder if he's had this in his brain for that long or something.
That's great.
Then they have the Smodcast episode that launched this thing, The Walrus and the Carpenter. That was the episode called, and then audio commentary with writer-director Kevin Smith. So I mean, you'll get enough. Oh, and there's deleted scenes, but you get enough on this disc. And this is a movie that like Clerks and like I think Chasing Amy too, that I feel like hasn't gotten a 4K yet and should get a 4K. I'd buy every Kevin Smith movie on 4K. So Kevin, if you want to release movies on 4K, please do. Yeah. You're not watching this, but just in case you do, just release them all on 4K. I mean, why not?
So Long was definitely good. Michael Parks was fabulous. He was really, really great.
Johnny Depp was fabulous.
This was like one of his best performances, in my opinion. Genesis Rodriguez, I thought was good. I thought she was a little too beautiful for her role. I think, no, seriously, I think a girl next door type beauty would have suited it a little bit better. Because all I keep thinking of is she should not be with either of these two schlubs, especially Haley Joel Osment. I'm sorry. Neither one of them looked like either of them could ever get near a girl like that.
It's not like in Jersey Girl where you've got Liv Tyler, who's just beautiful. Yeah. But she's with Ben Affleck. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck is a good-looking man. who I believe Kevin Smith has said he could play the Jaws or the shark in Jaws. He's like that. So I get that, but you got to find somebody. I don't know who would have been a great.
I mean, she was good.
No, she was a great actress.
Her performance is really good.
Genesis Rodriguez.
It's a little distracting though. It's
like, why is she with these guys?
Right.
Which Haley Joel Osment, even I love him to death, but he's not to me, he's not any more leading man material.
No.
He's a good, he was great in The Sixth Sense as a kid, but Bruce Willis was the leading man in that. He was still second banana to to Bruce Willis in that movie. And I loved him in this. I thought he was great. He was the perfect sort of there was couple little things that very confused me in the parts where they're there chatting on the podcast, right? And when you see them separately, was it Justin Long's character is trying to convince the girl that that his friend doesn't want her to go because she ruins the podcast or whatever, which is complete bullshit.
Right, I know.
Because she knows this because she's kind of sleeping around on him with the best friend, so she knows all that stuff. And then yet Justin Long is okay with his best friend taking his girlfriend to the Getty and stuff like that. And I'm just like, so is he okay with, does he know that they're cheating? Is he okay with that?
I don't think so, but it would have made more sense if they had just come out and just had an open relationship. That would have made a little bit more sense.
But she didn't seem like she wanted that, yet that's what she was sort of doing.
Yeah.
So I wonder, he knew she was cheating. He was cheating on her. Did he tell her these things? Does she know that he was? And if so, why is she sticking around with him?
And the thing is they both react the way they do when they find out. And part of me is like, well, their problem's solved. Now they can just be together, and it doesn't really matter. Just lead them go.
Well, I think that's what they did end up doing.
Right, that's what they end up doing. But they don't. They're there's some guilt involved, and so that's kind of why they go back. I think
to find them.
Yeah, and I kind of think that needed to be explored a little bit more. Just a scene where they share some guilt about what they're doing and how they're fucking over their friend. And now they have an opportunity where they have to go back. Because otherwise it's like, oh, well, somebody out there did the job we needed done for us, and now we can just be together.
I kind of mentioned earlier when we were watching the movie that there was a lot of monologues in this movie, and so it was a lot more talky than even Kevin Smith. And it kind of slowed the movie down a little bit.
And you don't get a whole lot of talky body horror movies. That was the thing.
So, I mean, if Kevin Smith's going to do body horror, it's going to be talky horror, body horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't get that. And that might be another reason a lot of people didn't like it, especially the people that are fans of body horror.
Remember, too, talk is a whole lot cheaper than gore. With a traditional body horror thing, there's a lot more emphasis on the body horror part.
Yeah,
the gore part.
And so there wasn't much gore in this movie. It was like the suit was grotesque and disgusting looking, and made you feel really sorry for the guy, especially when Michael gets into the other suit,
right?
And he's hurt. It's kind of attacking.
Because the thing is, you see him before and you see him after. What you're not seeing, and what you generally see in a traditional body horror, is the transformation, the horrific.
You sort of see a little bit.
You see a little bit.
You see a little bit of him doing the surgery and stuff, but you don't see it.
You see it implied. You don't actually see it.
Which is kind of funny because the podcast was the not see part of it.
Right.
So you sort of don't see it in this movie too. I don't know if that was his plan or if that was just.
I get it. Well, I imagine. Even if he wanted to go that way, like I said, that's a lot more money to do it convincingly.
It's a lot more money, and they were cheap. Like I think his wife put up a lot of money for it too, because he was trying to find people who were interested.
The other thing is that also undermines the tone if you're going for more comedy. If you're making it a black comedy, if you're making it a true horror fan, a true horror movie, and you go body horror and you show that kind of stuff, that's not funny. You can't make that funny. So I think there are reasons why it went the way that it went.
Yeah.
So,
but all in all, like, I mean, I don't know. The stuff with Johnny Depp was probably my favorite.
Yeah,
stuff.
that was
like
great.
that was
That
the
was
best.
fun.
And so I really enjoyed him in this. Like I said, though his character in Yoga Hosers is just basically the same, and just kind of it's like one movie was fine, but sometimes when it becomes too much, it's like, all right, this is a little bit.
It's kind of nice, and if you're sick of him saying as a stupid pirate in the big budget movies, watch him in this, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the Johnny Depp of old. And it's a nice performance.
The original, like the way he probably wanted to before he got sort of big on that. But I still like Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not like you. I am into old school Disney. New school Disney, not as much, but just because it just gets boring. Marvel's getting boring now and all this other stuff, but I feel like they need another resurgence, or whatever, because I'm getting tired. But that's the thing, and I feel like Johnny Depp was one of those people that helped make Disney at that time. I mean, without him being in the Pirates of the Caribbean, what?
I said thanks.
Yeah, but and Johnny was wonderful. So anyway, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the movie, and
I much prefer seeing them in a movie like this. And Kevin, if you're out there listening, make more like this. Go Tusk 2. Go do different stuff. Make a psychological horror movie. Expand your horizons. Do different things. There are plenty of people like us out here that want to see you do different things, and you don't have to keep making the same movie over and over and over. We appreciate the efforts that you do to do different things.
And please,
it's great.
Do it. Write it yourself.
Yeah.
He tried with Cop Out, which wasn't terrible. It wasn't a bad movie.
I never saw that either.
But it wasn't nearly as good as and if he had written it, would have been better. I feel like. I think he would have put a lot more humor into it, and maybe do a buddy cop comedy that you write. I could see Jay and Silent Bob buddy cop comedy. They become police officers. I'd watch that in a second. I don't know how that would happen, but stoner police officers, that would.
Or maybe a Kevin Smith, Joss Whedon mashup where Jay and Silent Bob end up in the Buffy universe.
Joss is not allowed. He's not allowed.
Oh,
right
come on!
He's not,
It's been long
back
enough.
yet. He's not back yet.
It's fine. Come on back, Joss. We need you.
He needs to chill on set.
Yeah, he does need to chill.
He doesn't need to be.
But he didn't fucking kill anybody.
He can't be mean to my Charisma Carpenter anymore.
Leave him alone. He's all right.
So thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. I'm glad you enjoyed it again.
Yeah. It's fun. It's good to see it again after a while.
Yeah, I mean, when I was trying to pick something, I was like, what can I do for what the F Friday? And I definitely have this, and I was like, I could do this for what the F Friday for sure. So,
Twerking cow.
Miley Cowris.
Yes.
There we go. All right. Thank you guys for checking this out. Join us next month where it'll be Paul's pick, and who the fuck knows what he's gonna pick. I pick the more mainstream what the fuck stuff, and he picks the shit that nobody knows.
If we're gonna do What the Fuck Friday, it's gonna be wackadoodle.
And it's gonna be wackadoodle. Just please, no more buffalo anuses. Just none of that shit. Literally, I don't want to see that. All right. Anyway, until then, everybody, join the Not-See party. The Not-See. Not Nazi.
Here's a stuffed cow anus.
Okay, we're done. Bye.
What the fuck?
Hello, Mr. Moo. Mr. Moo.
Bye.
You almost said this mood music, didn't you?
I know!
Didn't you?
I was almost going to say that. Then I didn't. That's good.
Bye. Check out this butt, baby. Yeah. Woohoo.